So the kids are screaming, your phone is ringing off the hook, you're getting text messages, your anxiety is building, and you might have left the stove on, you don't even know. That, my friends, is our new normal. That is the life we're living right now as real estate professionals in this industry with the virtual learning that's going on with our families and children. And I thought there is nothing more important to talk about than what we have learned over the last 4 months. A lot of people have had a strain on their careers and their mental health. And I want to talk about some tactics in creating a nurturing and productive work environment. And when I say work environment, I'm talking about the schooling environment that we're all now responsible for and your normal work-life balance, so to speak. I mean, that's like a naughty word. I never say balance anymore. So I really look for rhythms, not balance. But you know, look at the differences, right? I'm in jeans and a tank top. And normally if I was at the office, I would be in a blazer with heels on, you know, kind of walking down. They used to call me Sarge in the office, walking up and down those hallways, talking with people, making sure that I'm available to help and really moving the needle. And now today it's totally different, right? We're at home, it's remote, it's cloud-based. I have 3 kids, they're home with me. And I want to talk about how do you do it all? Right? Because that's the question I get a lot, not only from agents across the country, but from friends and family. How do you do it all? Looks like you're doing it all. I promise you, I am not doing it all. And I'm going to reveal 3 things that we are doing, that we have learned over the last 4 months in order to have a happy home, a healthy home, and a productive home, not only for work and our careers. My husband and I both work full time, but also for our children and their new schooling environment. Okay, so tactic number 1. I want to talk about the most important piece here, which is the acceptance. So mentally accepting what was is no longer. That normal that we used to live and the office life and the kids going to school and the camps and the everything is no longer available to us right now. Now this is temporary. This is not going to be a forever piece, but for however long it is, we do need to adapt, and we need to adapt fairly quickly because school is here. Kids are going back in some areas. In our area, it's all virtual. And so how do you do that without losing your mind and quitting your job and reducing your income so that you can somehow manage, and then creating so much stress and resentment? And I want to talk about that because that is so important. So giving yourself the freedom to realize, whoa, I now am the author of exactly how we're going to live our lives this year. I now am the author of how my kids will be schooled. You know, I mean, I was right in the same boat, the busy mom and, you know, showing up with a toothbrush in my mouth as I'm dropping my kid off to run back home and jump on a meeting and get it all done. But we're not doing that anymore. So you have to accept that this is pretty cool. You've got some freedom here that most of us have never had since becoming parents. You know, we've had school time frames and school testing and all this stuff that we had to abide by. And really, let's be honest, stress out about that we no longer have. And it is an opportunity for you to do things a little bit differently, and that might work better for your family. Okay, so it's the mental piece. I accept this. I have the freedom now to write this chapter in our book, and that's an exciting thing. And with that freedom comes finding efficiency and a rhythm, a new rhythm that will work for you and your family. And I approached this after having several freakouts. I'm human, just like you. So after going through that and kind of kicking and screaming and whining and feeling bad for myself, actually, right, I'm not alone. So many people are going through this. A lot of my clients from other realtors and team leaders across the country, my own agents, my partner, all going through these things. So how do you approach this? Just like anything else in life, you look for how to create a system. How do I create a process that I can scale and feel good in and make progress in? And so we did the work. We did the homework. We needed to find the best tools and educational platforms to teach us how to be extremely efficient. And we've been talking a lot about this on these live streams here at Thrive in Real Estate. for a few weeks now in what we've done within our organization and home to level up, master efficiency, and create that new normal. So I have two things that have absolutely changed the way that we do work and that now we do school. Number one, a 4-hour work week by Tim Ferriss has rapidly changed our operation and how we run our companies. I am here to tell you that full-time to me is working 3 days a week. Does that mean that, I'm completely off the grid for the rest of the days of the week? No, I'm not. However, I have made sure that my 20% of my role is 100% taken care of within 3 days of a week. And that was possible by mastering efficiency and really finding clarity around my role within my companies. So go reference that book. Now, on the schooling side, it is just important to take those tactics and that idea of educating yourself around efficiency to the school side of your home. So there's a book out there that my girlfriend recommended to me. She was a teacher and then decided to homeschool her own children for the last several years. Talk about best position to be in for this pandemic. And she recommended a book to me that is really relevant to us here in real estate. It was written by a couple, man and wife, that had very, very busy careers in real estate, owned their own brokerage, several other companies. She was a realtor out selling homes. So it was extremely relatable, and it's called 5-Hour School Week. And what they did was they went from your normal life that we're all used to. Kids are in school, they were in a private school, extreme standards, everyone's stressed out, mornings were insane, to realizing, hey, life can be done a little bit differently, and we're going to explore that. And they decided to homeschool their children, maintain their careers in a very efficient way, and travel and use experience as a part of, supplemental pieces to their schooling. So we are following that methodology and very excited about this next school year to be able to do that. So those are the two things. While you work on mastering efficiency in your career and in your school life now, it's really important to identify the priorities. What are my priorities in my role? As a real estate agent, we talk about them all the time. You have 5. As a homeschooling parent, you've got a couple, right? You have to really, really understand the number one priority is communicating with your child in the way that they learn best. This was something I overlooked a lot in the first months of really wrapping my head around, okay, how does a full-time career woman handle this? It took me really doing some research and some talk with people around the country to realize I was not including the most important feature there, which is, how do my kids learn best? What is their strength zone in terms of how they learn? Is it audible? Is it visual? Is it one-on-one? Do I need to create this for them? And so by doing that and really spending some time with my kids, talking with their teachers and their counselors at their schools, I got to really hone in on exactly what would work best for each of them. So understand that in creating this new normal, you do not need to conform to all of the things we're used to, which is, again, wrapping your head around the kind of unschooling or the untraditional ways of living, and realizing that the societal norms are no longer. So if you've got freedom to create, get creative. And that was the first thing we did. And I'm happy to say my children are not going to be using the virtual public learning systems that are out there. We decided as a family to maintain that extreme efficiency and keep our children and our home happy, healthy, and productive. We needed to kind of step outside of that, just like we were doing in our workplace. And so we found a curriculum. I have 3 kids, right? I got a teenager, you guys. He's 16, going on 25, all the way down to a pre-K at 3. So we've got it all. We've got the whole spectrum. And I needed to really find curriculum for each of them that was not going to require my kids being shackled to a computer for 6 to 7 hours a day. That to me was just not an option. And so I stepped outside that norm and said, okay, what's available? There's a whole industry for homeschooling that have been out there for decades and decades, proven, efficient, with results that you can say, yep, That's what we're after. And so we did find a program for my son that he can complete within 3 hours. Hits all the priorities he needs as a 16-year-old and a junior, while also having some really cool supplemental stuff through life work credit options. Then for our elementary school child and children, we were able to find a program that instead of her being in front of a computer, which this is the reality, for 6 to 7 hours a day, we now have created a learning pod with like-minded family where they can do an hour of schooling, 2 hours max if you want to, if they're really digging the project or something, which was incredible. Again, maintaining efficiency and happy, healthy, and productive children in a family. So I reckon that you guys should absolutely kind of step outside the box and write the chapter exactly as it would fit your family. And that will help you and your family. And I think that's where I'm finding a lot of people are getting stuck right now, where they feel trapped and they feel scared and nervous of how they're going to pull this off as if their child was still in a school environment that does not exist anymore. And so if that means you need to bring in tutors, or you bring in family members, or you hire a nanny or a teacher to help, and you can split the cost through a learning pod, do it. On the work side, you know, we don't have, if someone needs to take off for a week or two, you better live in preparation mode, right? You better get your job done and make sure there's some cross training. Again, living in efficiency. Anything is possible when you kind of break the boundaries of that tradition. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. The third tactic to all of this, so you know the priorities of the roles, you know what your children need, you've found the efficiency within your career and how to create a shorter, less hour work week for yourself. The next piece is absolute. Just like in our work life, everyone has very clear roles and responsibilities. People have certain veto powers within their roles. You have to also create that on the schooling side. And I'll give you some personal understandings. I am not a fluffy, shocker, right? Fluffy, crafty, teacher-like person. You know, I'm a gentle, nurturing mother. However, I don't have the patience in me to create crafts and do that with children. That is a very magical, special characteristic that, you know, only special groups of people have. But thankfully, I married somebody who can tap into that, and we assigned the role of parsing out and creating the plan around the curriculum and the execution to my husband. And I will be the support piece there, right? So if you need materials, or you need ideas on how to scale that, or how to create the system around it, or me to play a certain part in that, we can do that. And so by defining who's responsible for what over here, it changed everything. The overwhelm left. The clarity around planning it all out became prevalent and something we could actually engage in, which is the piece that is really important. Without clarity, you can't gain engagement. No one knows what to do, how to do it, or even how to get started, which is the toughest part. So clarity around who owns what and how it's going to get done is really important. That can include everything from getting your children involved in making breakfasts and helping with lunches or chores. That's something that we incorporate here in the life skill part of what we're going to be doing for homeschooling. And I think it'll help all of you run happy, healthier, productive households. So I hope this was helpful. Really important to explore this subject and start writing your own chapters with it, and realizing that you can do it outside of societal norms and still have the result that we're all looking for with our children and our lives, which is, you know, on the life work side, it's that financial freedom and happiness, and on the family side, it's having a healthy, happy, productive family. So again, normally we do Monday live streams at 9 a.m. Today was one of those days where you got to give some grace to the schedule and the homeschooling and remote work, and so here I am, noon, doing a live stream. Normally though, 9 o'clock, that's where you can find us. Next week, we'll be talking even more about the 4-hour work week because it has dramatically changed what we can accomplish in our work life. And so we're going to continue to share those takeaways and processes that we're following there. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comments below and we will get to them. Thanks. Talk to y'all soon.